go. Perfect. All right, so you all should be able to see me in there. So I'm the red, orange, and yellow guy. That means I'm the hottest thing inside the video. Sorry, fellas, but that's the way that's going to work tonight. So it usually kills with the bachelorette parties, just so you guys know, especially when they show up half drunk. So we're looking for blue and black. Those are the coldest spots in the frame. And what we're looking for is for those blue and black areas to be able to either take shape or to start moving on their own. When I say take shape, it's usually into the form of a person. So normally those are the things that I look for. The cool thing about your video that you're going to get back is that there's a blue dot that's bouncing around the screen. It is showing you the exact coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It also has the temperature on there. I also keep a center crosshairs, so that way we kind of have an ambient temperature, but I do keep track of the Weather Channel's version of our temperature. Right now it's 71 degrees for us tonight. I will be looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops when I'm going through your video and skimming it. So that's about 56 degrees or colder are the things that I'm looking for. So this guy is super cool. Does it capture something every single night? Not necessarily, but when it does, it is a holy shit moment. I'm just going to put it right out there. We are going to be doing a few starts and stops with this, and I'm going to stop it now that the pass through here, because this is kind of a staple for every ghost tour. We just split the seas for them and let them go through. They will be staring at you because they will be jealous. You guys have all the cool shit, they don't. So I'm the only tour in America that has this level of gear on his tour. There's one other tour in Savannah that has very cheap equipment and they make you rent it. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy idea. So the fact that you guys stumbled across me, and I am the underground thing to do in Charleston, just so you know. If you go to a bar or restaurant and ask your waiter or bartender of like, what's the best ghost store in town? There's a guy that'll take you ghost hunting. I'm the guy. So everybody else says ghost hunting or paranormal something. Yeah, they're telling you ghost stories and moving on. So not to brag or anything, but yeah, I'm going to boast while you guys are here. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This place used to be called Dueler's Alley. There's a lot of keywords in here, and I will stop on each keyword and notate them, because those are common things that we hear or see in this location. We all tell the same story because, again, let's face it, it's a dueling alley, so we all tell the story of one specific duel, but you're going to get the story a little bit differently than another ghost tours, because we're not sitting around a campfire with marshmallows. We're ghost hunting. Specifically, so where's my Ouija board? I want you looking for the initials RI. Do you see the little dial below your red circle?
Yes.
I want you to turn it clockwise until it stops. We're going to crank it up in here. Perfect. So whenever I say scale it back, just usually scale it back by a quarter turn. And that's usually because you're getting A, B, C, D, like all in a row. Mm-hmm. And that means it's way too sensitive for that location. Okay. So we want to scale it back. Do you have any letters on there right now, by the way?
B-E-L.
Yeah, I got nothing on that.
And a D. Nope. And a G.
Yeah, we probably need to scale it back a little bit. Maybe a turn.
And a P.
Alright, we'll stop there.
Wheel of Fortune real fast.
I know, right? Can I buy a vowel, please? Alright, so let's get through why this place is haunted. There's a doctor that moves to Charleston because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. The doctor's name is Joseph Brown Ladd. Again, I slowed down on his name because it shows up here often. Amanda, his fiancée, just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money, and he's going to start his practice down here and make his own. So the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start to his stay in Charleston, by the way. Somebody was walking by, a man who lived here. He's not an actual native, or he's just a local. His name is Ralph Isaacs, and I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. So Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. Two different people. We need a secondary clue so we know who it actually belongs to. Anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. I know him. And he's got a gunman inside. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. He shows up. At any rate, Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer. He rents that room at 59 Church Street, and Ralph and the doctor become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this, and she's pretty happy about it. She's moving down so they can get married, and Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every cliche whistling ghost is going to be in all the cities that you guys are going to visit in the future and go on other future ghost tours. Every city has a whistling ghost. There is actual proof of this one. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Sarah, you look really confused, like really like whistling ghosts.
I want to hear a whistle.
Yeah, we're hopefully going to. And actually, you have the device that will hear it. So between the two of you, the weird thing is they say as you walk through the alley, you can get the whistles from the doctor. Now, we have obviously many communication devices here. I'll explain a little bit further, but the word whistle or songs with just whistles in it will come through on our spirit boxes while we're in this location. Anyway, back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they go and talk about these plays on the way home. And one night they go see Richard III, and they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph, not so much. The argument gets a little bit more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It obviously gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. So I told you Ralph has a lot of friends here. He goes to see his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of bullshit, right? Not a very cool thing to do because Dr. Ladd sees the newspaper ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to go and duel this out and somebody's going to die. So they come down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. However, Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. Obviously, kneecap being a very specific word here. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later or 4 days later, depending on which version of the story that you're reading. So his death date is November 2nd. That was, what, 5 days ago? Today's the 7th. So again, we're still kind of a week out, so we don't know what's actually going to come up here. We've been getting a few things here and there. We got a few, by the way. So, like I said, people have claimed to hear whistles down here. Because I can't take you all the way through, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, because I've actually been kicked out of this alley. Yes, that's the fun part of the story. I'm getting to it. However, if you're going to go through here without me, turn on your voice recorders on your phone. Listen to it later. People have claimed to hear whistling in the background, but let me warn you that every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on this side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. Obviously, you guys see where my garage is at, and I have to pass the alley in order to get back to my car, and I do throw a whistle down the alley, especially since I got thrown out of here. Here's how that went down. But I guess more things about the whistles. Think of songs like Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger, or Guns N' Roses' Patience, or I've even had just one little come out of a commercial, like just very loud on the spirit box recordings. So again, it happens all the time, and it is not coincidence that obviously we're in this alley when it occurs. This alley didn't always come all the way through. It was actually shut off on this side, which means those bricks on that side of the alley are older. I used to take my bricks all the way through to go show off those bricks. Why? Because the cemetery bricks are sculptural. One of those pieces where we all need to see what that looks like, because there is a full handprint from a slave child at the end of the alley along with fingerprint swaps. Again, obviously we all need to see it no matter the diversity of my group. However, my entire group likes to put all of their equipment around that one brick with the slave child's handprint in it. I treat that handprint the same way I do a grave. I don't take you to actual cemeteries. Why? You don't get a whole lot of activity in a cemetery, believe it or not. People don't hang out near their headstone. It's the same thing with that damn brick. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So, trying to scurry my group along on November 26th of 2020. Yes, it's a very specific date. I'm going to get to it. And it's because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was out of bounds, and I didn't know it. But I knew, I don't want to disrupt neighbors with my crazy ghost hunting tour type thing, and I'm just starting this off, and I'm scurrying them along, and the new neighbor came out and started screaming. My daughter thought it was great, because Dad's getting yelled at. The next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tour that day, because I worked in retail management for over 20 years. I've never worked for another Thanksgiving ever again. The next day was November 28th of 2020. Remember that date. I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or to reroute my tour. I decided to reroute my tour because normally when the times I was here, it was very busy. I didn't want to put my group of 10 around 20 to 60 other people trying to investigate. Just didn't think it was very fair. So I told my group that night, I don't believe in the story I'm about to tell you. It's about pirates. I'm a vampire guy. I've never had any evidence there, but we're going to see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we actually got something going on tonight. We get up there and I told a little bit I did know about piracy, and somebody else hears the number 300 on a spirit box. I didn't know what that meant until I'm doing the research the next day. There's a new location, kind of like what we're going to be doing at the end. I'm doing the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So So I went, damn it. Now I gotta learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates. So I've read more books on piracy than I ever care to. But everything we're about to go through when we get up there has been based on at least a minimum of 2 resources. Trying to develop a factual investigation on pirate lore is very difficult. And you guys are very fortunate that I have a master's degree in creative writing, because again, without that degree, I probably wouldn't have been able to have been piecing that together for y'all. Because again, it's very difficult to do when you're trying to find facts about pirates. So, before we leave the space, what have we heard? Have we heard anything? You guys been focused on me? We've had some letters come through.
Got an R and a B. An AR and a B since we last checked it. BELDGPARB.
Yeah, a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
So do you see the red dial next to your screen?
Yes.
Turn it counterclockwise until it clicks. And then turn it back to 9 o'clock. We're going to clear your slate. Anybody else hear anything on your spirit boxes, or do you have anything going on with yours, Fabian? You have run and then away? So we're supposed to run away?
European run away.
I would run away.
That's funny.
Who did you piss off? Jesus.
There might have been some people here who
It's
didn't
like you
like
didn't get it the
Europeans.
first time.
That didn't
Sarah,
sound
did you hear
like-
anything on yours, or were you focused on me?
I did not.
That's okay. And again, you're going to get better at it as we go through. Did you hear anything else? No, you're focused on me.
I'm up now. I'm
Okay.
doing 2 things at once now.
Yep, I know. It's difficult to
Yeah, I
listen
wanna
to that, and not to mention when I'm trying to give you a lot of history all at once, like it can be very daunting. Like to try to listen to the very fast-speaking guy, and then you got that garbage in your ear. Yeah, that it's very hard to do. So
It's like the scan on the radio.
Yep, that's exactly it. You just hit scan in your card and just go, and then it plays whatever song you think you like. So we're gonna go up and around the corner. Did you get any readings? Where is my millimeter? So.
I have it. I was 3.3.
3.3, that's good. So above 2.5, we're going to take. So again, nothing, I'm sure it went away right away, didn't it?
Yeah, I went to 1.8.
Yeah, that's why they call it
dropping.
they don't, yeah, they don't stand still. So 3.3 for this location is good. I've never seen anything above a 5. So again, obviously, let me kind of explain those before we move on to the next phase. Did it say walk away? We're getting there, Dr. Ladd.
Run away, walk away.
I know, right? I just told you guys I omitted a few locations tonight because I was getting darker messages like get the hell out of here. So we're getting walk away and run away. So let me explain Tori's device a little bit further. If you were to put that thing behind your TV set where there's a bunch of wires, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss. So that's still kind of safe levels. Obviously, we watch TV every day. So I just wanted to kind of give you a barometer of what that thing actually reads out. So when we start getting spikes of like 18 to 20 to 25, you can now have a relation like, hey, that's almost as much as my TV would give off. If you were to stand next to a running microwave on high, it's going to read about 150 to 170 milligauss. So I've seen that thing go as high as 214 milligauss, and it's like putting your head inside the running microwave. So again, very dangerous levels. So, and that was actually at that space where I told you I was getting some of those darker messages, but that was about a year ago now, so 8-9 months. But again, this space, I've never seen anything really above a 5, so little tiny spikes like that. Like there's a couple like little lamp posts around us, but nothing where you should be getting anything significant. So if it does go up to a 10, that's where I'm going to be super excited for that location. I'll always kind of give you the baseline of what I know of the location. So it's just kind of keep that in the back of your head. So when I say, oh, this space we've gotten all the way up to 15, you know, don't get like freaked out about it. It's just that's the baseline. You'll see a spike of 15, and then it'll go back down. So I'm always there to debunk a lot of things. The gate behind me before we leave. In the event that there was a loser to a duel, remember that this alley didn't go all the way through this way? This was the shortcut to get to St. Philip's Cemetery. So if there was a loser, instead of carrying the dead body all the way down to the end, down to Queen Street and down and around, this was over the courtyard and go drop the body in the pre-dug grave so they can go celebrate the winter. Like that's the reason why this actually was here. Like the wrought iron gate wasn't here, but the archway definitely was. So this is the late 1800s at that point. So let's go around to this crazy church and let's see what we got going on up there.
Do I do anything with this?
You can unmute it along the way.
I unmute it. What am I looking for once I unmute it?
Oh, trust me, it'll be loud and clear. If you hear Charleston or 102.9, you know, those are the kinds of things that tell me the truth. Yep. Yeah. And it'll be nice and loud.
Have you seen anything of interest? His water bottle is unfortunately room temperature.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, the only thing of interest I've seen is your water bottle's kind of warm.
Yeah. It's warm?
Yeah,
It
it's
should
like
be cold.
70, it says.
I thought it was colder than that, but...
Well, at least through the pocket, that's what it saw.
feel like I'm playing Fallout.
Right?
I said I feel like I'm playing Fallout.
What is that?
A video game?
Video game.
Oh.
It's like post-apocalyptic nuclear
And there's always
future.
these little radios in all the rooms.
Trying to find. You see where I'm getting at?
Yep.
Oh, I did bump the FLIR out. I plugged it back in and hit record again.
Okay.
It seemed fine.
Yeah. And like I said, it's pretty loose in there. This is about the, like November, December is usually when I replace that. That whole deal.
I heard the word run. I think that's just telling me I need to exercise.
What did Fabian do? Unbelievable. Pissed off his ghost.
Well, he also refused medical treatment. So he probably died from infection. I'm sure he did because I'm sure he tried to bleed the bullet out himself. He was a doctor.
I said, watch this man.
Ohio?
Ohio. Like, got them all. In all the states. The other place that I actually started off with was pretty far uptown because I like to kind of be out of the way of things. Nobody talks about the places up there as far as a ghost tour. But that was kind of a creepy spot too. Like it was on a dark corner, no street light. I'm standing underneath the tree with my backpack, texting everybody, like I'm here, backpack and hat, little guy, like that was the kind of thing. So I was like, what's more weird, the top of a garage or a dark, creepy corner? It was right next to Big John's Tavern, and everybody would go there and have a few drinks. And normally, if somebody comes out too drunk where they can't stand, I don't tour. It's that simple. You guys are holding thousands of dollars of equipment. That's a nope all day long. So I've tried it, and I'm like, no, I'm never doing it again. Did you guys notice that there was a big giant tour over there by the church?
Yes.
Okay, so every ghost tour stops there. I let them have it. It's,
I think it might just be a tree.
we got a lot of acorns falling at this time of year.
Yeah, it knocked me. Not a ghost.
I picked a few out of my shoe the other morning. So.
Did you hear that?
This shit hit me.
Well, Nick's got it on camera, so whatever it was, he got it.
Nothing. It's purple.
It's purple. Whatever it was purple. So we're good.
Okay.
Get it, punk.
The problem is you're purple too, so.
They're over there, and I let them have it. It's their one show and tell. Your show and tell is in your hands. Like, nobody's doing this for y'all. So, there's two different sides to the cemetery. So, the side that they're on, there's a sign right inside the gate that says, there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. Obviously at a church, right? So, there's a reason why that sign is there, though. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. And we just talked about initials with Ralph Isaacs over there. What's Sue Howard Hardy's initials?
SHH.
Shh, exactly. So it's cheesy, it's campy. I hate even telling you, but it does show up a lot, especially on Fabian's device. So again, I've seen her initials here a lot. Now, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very abrupt story, right? 1987, local photographers in town. He's taking all of his pictures of the beautiful cemeteries, putting a book together. He captures a full apparition in one of his
What's
photographs.
their heartbreaker?
Hold on to that one. I want to write that one down. The apparition, it's 1987 when he takes this photograph. No, he doesn't have the tech that you guys are holding in your hands to be able to prove or debunk things. So he sends it to Kodak. Kodak can only authenticate the picture that it came from the type of camera that he said it did, and that it hadn't been tampered with. So I am going to show you the picture. However, it is said to be cursed. So to females, I am going to show it to you. Females, please don't touch a damn tablet. I forgot to kind of give you the fair warning because, again, I had a story for the fair warning on my previous route. In the event anybody feels any kind of headache, nausea, or dizziness throughout the time with me, you need to let me know so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. It's a very big deal. People have passed out on my tours on nice cool nights like this. And I can't always say that it's supernatural, but again, it's a 50-50 shot. But females that touch this photograph are said to have those kind of symptoms, the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story of the stillborn baby. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon or vacation and 9 months later I curse their family. In essence, don't touch my damn tablet. I do this for a living, folks. So again, I'm not about to play with curses and all of that mess. So I will go down 2 by 2 so everybody can see the photograph, and then we will get started on our crazy pirate story over here. Alright, so photograph. This is the full picture that we took. Operation right here. This is probably an instance where the baby's buried with mom because there's no record of the baby birth or death. So what they did back in those times was they would bury the baby with the mother. And they say that she actually died.
Yeah, like right when he was telling the story, it was like, he just
There's your apparition. The woman in her own grave, you're looking at her back, and then there's the baby basket next to her.
mine's like
So full photo. Apparition is here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with a baby basket next to her. So that's why they're all over there. They're making it some big elaborate story. Is there something wrong with yours?
How do I turn it up?
The
Maybe I don't
there you go.
Got it now?
There we go.
Perfect.
So the story was that she died giving
Birth.
birth.
No, she died 6 days after.
Oh,
Giving birth.
of heartbreak.
Of heartbreak?
That's, again, it's depending on which version you're reading. So, do I have things that prove this woman actually lived? Yeah. Is this story kind of like a weird anomaly where you're like, what the hell, like, truly happened? I've been diving into this story for 3 years through the archives of Charleston, and it is very difficult to find anything really about this woman, including her husband, where they lived. Those census records were destroyed. Like, I've been diving in. But again, it is kind of a creepy story, and for people like me that study apparitions and photos, trying to see like what actually occurs in them, like this will probably show up in your top 50. No, I don't even know what the gender is. So again, no record of the baby. And I've been through the church records during the time frame that she would have passed away. So if the story is true, 6 days prior of her death, I have that exact death date. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it is one of those pieces where I can figure it out when the baby should have been born and go through the records of the church. I've been through like 1 or 2 weeks prior, and you know what I mean, before and after, trying to find out where the baby was. So can't find the baby. Let's talk about pirates. What do you think?
Yar.
Yeah. So story time, and then we're going to investigate the space. Like, I will be spreading you guys out. Yeah, there's a lot of cats around here. Now explain those cats as we pass up the other church when we go up and around. So we will investigate the space afterwards. Like, we will spread out a little bit. And for those of you that want to get some footage of the front of the powder magazine with cameras, you can leave the lot and then make a left in front of the bushes, and the powder magazine is obviously over there in the front. And that's the little tiny building over there. That's what we're going to be discussing. Those are not crosses on that building, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're basically turnbuckles. In the event that we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we haven't, by the way, it was a big one for us because it's South Carolina, we're not supposed to have earthquakes. You can turn the turnbuckles, and it's supposed to straighten the building back up and tighten it, so that way it doesn't incur any further damage. So it's a great idea, but that shit doesn't work. So, yeah, it's like a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I can see that. I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't work. So the reason I bring up those earthquake bolts is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It is finished in 1713, which is exactly the reason why we're here. We're here because Anne Bonny came to this area at the time that this building was being built. This is what I call a familiar. So in essence, it's like using a toy to kind of attract a child ghost. It's the same type of principle. We don't have any buildings this old around town. So let's kind of break into this story. There's a lot going on here. So follow me, there's a lot of twists. You guys are very attentive, by the way, which is very kind of different for me lately. You know, Halloween was a little, you guys were all over the place. But at any rate, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. So 1708 is where the story begins. A young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far on this? Okay. The three of them are trying to run away from her father's angry wife. You okay? Are you trying to get a hit?
Yeah, I hear a little acorn over there just.
Just wait. We are on 100% full moon tonight, just so you guys know. And last month's full moon was the most active investigation we had in the month. That doesn't always occur that way, but that's the way it occurred last month. But anyway, so the three of them are trying to run away from her father's angry wife. You guys got that, right? Okay. So they land in Georgetown. It's just north of here. So that's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to keep the plantation afloat. That's kind of how that went. He worked the plantation. She sold everything. That's why we're here. Familiar building. Young Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was only 7, 8, or 9 years old. Remember, it's pirate lore. Very hard to determine which exact age she was. Now, fast forward, the building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom just like a man. So that's the way her plan's going to go. First guy she falls in love with. Yeah, I said first because we're going to go through all of them. There's a handful. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. However, this is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, because every young lady wants a Captain Jack Sparrow. This guy's a privateer. He's a spy for the British. In other words, a coward in her eyes. So a few years later, she falls in love again. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Calico Jack actually is the person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So this is literally the guy that she's looking for. He has his own ship and wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
I should be right or something.
No, don't go that dark.
Okay. So I was like, wow.
Females are bad luck on pirate ships. That's why. So, and I get that answer a lot. So, and I usually have to remind people it's family friendly. So, anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and be part of the crew, hide your gender, you can come on the ship, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, let's go. Let's put 2 and 2 together, a little bit non-family friendly. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back. We'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. No amount of my research can determine what the hell happened to that poor child. She comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. To make him even more mad, he captured another pirate crew that's down below deck, and Anne's going to go flirting with that pirate crew because that's who Anne is. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. Now we have 2 females, dressed like males on the same ship. This young lady's name is Mary Reed, just like you read a book. That's the way her spelling is. So that shows up on Fabian's device, which we've seen in the past. So she went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, because we really don't know for sure. But the British, they find out where they are, and they send a fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary, rumor has it, that they were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Probably because they don't know how to use the cannon yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. So, obviously 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a fleet of ships. So, they get arrested, obviously. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. Word dog shows up here a lot, just so you guys know. That's a big one. The judge, he wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. After he's already tried and hung the drunken pirates and Calico Jack, they're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender. He does not care that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they screamed out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in the South Carolina area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. Mary Reed dies a year later, 1721, in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. So, I gave you guys basically a heated warning at the top of this. So before I spread you out with questions with your spirit boxes, let me tell you why I give that heated warning of headache, nausea, and dizziness. A year ago this past September, I actually brought my group back here, just like I always do, to stay out of the other way, the other tours. And the kid next to me goes white as a ghost. I literally have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him to get him over to that wall so he's feeling better. And then I told them the story that I just told you. They had no idea about Ann Bonny and Mary Reed, but I spread everybody out with their devices. At the point, this was our last stop. Like, go have fun with your last, pieces of gear. Let's see what we can capture. Them two pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you that we are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males on my tour, just like Ann and Mary in the story. And it made complete sense to us as to why one of them passed out the minute we walked into the space. And when I say the minute, I mean that kid started to drop like pretty quickly. So it was a nice cool night like this. He wasn't overdressed. Take that for what it's worth. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it very far with me, just so you guys know. So we do get some spaces with some really high EMF detections. So the only 2 things I left out of, because again, this is pirate lore, I left 2 things out for all of you spirit boxes to ask while we're actually here. I left out the name of Ann Bonny's parents on purpose, so you can ask what Ann Bonny's parents' names were. You can also ask what the name of Calico Jack's ship was. I left that out purposely as well. I'm not going to give you the answers until we leave the space. So when you're asking these questions, listen closely. Obviously, you're looking for names and any other thing that could be a ship or captain name. So kind of keep that as we're going through. Again, those of you with cameras, if you want to leave the lot and go to the front and exit to the left, by all means, get us some footage. What letters do you have going on with yours?
FQRAMLJXGCK.
Yeah, reset. Bunch of nothing. Sorry, English major. I can do the word scrambles in my brain. So we're going to start ears off nice and fresh. In the event that you guys are trying to film or going to see the front of the powder magazine, just don't interrupt the other tours. It's the only thing I ask, because other tours do stop up there. But we're going to this is a hit or miss location. We either get a lot going on here or we get nothing. It's one of those weird spaces. So this is not normally a place where I would like to end a tour, but this is where I ended it before. I was like, all right, guys, let's see what we can capture. It's either a lot or nothing. Have you heard anything else besides heartbreak? Nothing, Sarah? And you've been on mute. Keep in mind that
We've got her volume.
Oh, no.
Keep in mind that the brick building behind the powder magazine are apartment buildings. So again, we're not going to be obviously filming anything crazy up there or anything like that.
So go up to the windows and like film inside.
Yeah,
is what you're saying?
Do
that. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Creep them out a little bit. But there's no windows on the powder magazine, so it's a very odd design. But again, we just stay out of the way of the other tours. Let's have some fun in here, and then I'm going to go over and start bouncing around with all of you guys one by one and kind of see what you guys got going on. So again, only 5 to 8 minutes in this location. We'll know right off the top. So let's get those spirit boxes cranked. Definitely get yours unmuted, Sylvia. Let's get this place rocking. Fabian, what do you got going on with yours?
Drink.
Let me take a look at everything
Drink.
you got.
Yeah.
Run away and drink. Awesome.
So we have to go out and around?
Yeah.
Hang.
Okay.
You just got
Yeah.
banged.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of stuff. I got run.
I think it's them, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
It's a spooky ghost.
And then I just got
And then you said you just got pang a moment ago, right?
Pretty good at that. That's not an easy spirit box.
I've got 2 H's and an S.
John, yours will give us Sue's initials. That SHH
I do have SHH.
in a row.
No, but I've got
Do you
an
have, do you
H.
have an SH?
I do have an SH at the top
I'll
there.
take the SH by itself. That's good.
I do have ship as well.
Do you really?
SHIP.
In a row?
Just turned to a K, but yes, it was SHIP.
See what I mean by full scope? Yeah. I need it now. How much more time? Okay, back.
Nope.
We'll film the front, goddammit. I want this in my report next morning.
Yes, sir. On it. Count on me.
It says hell. It says health?
Hell?
Goodness. What did it say? It says hell.
Also, I feel like your meters are higher.
Oh yeah, they are. No, it says honor.
Now it says what?
Honor, yeah.
Does it? It tracks what it's been showing you, right?
Yeah.
Apparently otter sends you to hell.
Oh wow.
Basically, drink sustainable.
I like
crust. Crust. Telepathy.
Rage. Oh, that's spooky.
Rage, noon, haze.
Wow, that's spooky as fuck.
Zero. What's his zero? Oh, so this is a bar.
Oh yeah.
No, sir. Every time I catch like the sky, it's like 50 degrees.
Yeah. I don't know what stuff is supposed to look like through infrared.
I think infrared, you're supposed to look for like orbs, so like little shit floating around.
Alright, well then riddle me this. Alright, yeah, you can kind of see it from right over here. If you look at the way, look at the end of the cannon, doesn't it kind of look like there's a figure hunched there because of the way that shadow, like the dripping from
The front of the cannon?
the gutter? The back of the cannon. Right there, you see that?
I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, I think it's just a trick of the shadows and everything. But I got it on film. Let's see.
You know, pretty normal temperature-wise, huh?
It's all about the same temperature, yeah.
Yeah, Fabiana's been getting all kinds of spooky shit. Kind of fun. He does not seem happy. Anything new?
Just like random words.
It would honestly be hilarious if we just started like having German words in there.
Yeah, that would be funny.
I had a beer today called Achtung.
Oh.
Got a W. Oh my god.
Dub.
It did say ship.
Michael. Micah, who's Micah?
Anything else crazy?
I had Micah.
Who the hell's Michael?
Anne's dad.
No. Nice try. Nice try.
Body? Performance?
You'll never know.
We do know Anne.
A lot of country. It's been a lot of country. No, it said I see you.
Oh. Well, that's
So make sure you weren't too close to that electrical pole. Okay, yeah, that's a good spot.
I just heard ask questions.
We're trying to ask questions. Sarah's asking all kinds of questions. Go ahead and reset. Make sure it's not coming from you. Reset. And you want to show us what color your hair was? Reset. That's not coming from you. Reset. And what color was your hair? Shown us before. You gotta touch that metal stick coming out of there. Sarah, what do you got now?
Nothing.
You got the volume here.
Yeah.
All right, let's gather everybody back outside this wall.
Anything else fun or interesting?
Deformed.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
Yeah, I think so too.
A couple of
So it
things.
hit me in the head and hit you?
We got the word ship on the Envoy, so that's probably the most exciting thing that we have here in real time. So, Sarah, it seems like you're still struggling with learning how to listen to it, which is fine. It's why we record everything. We did hear the phrase knock you up, so I mean, we were talking about Anne Bonny.
It did knock me up in the head.
I was thinking a little bit less family friendly, getting knocked up. But for those of you with cameras, by all means, go ahead and feel free to stop them, give your hands a break.
2020.
It's going right there.
Yeah.
Slow walkers in your group?
Yeah, apparently. Sauntering.
I thought it said look at you.
Said my middle name. For real?
That's it so far. Just say my middle name, Alexis.
What did you get while we were walking?
Move quickly, British.
And smoke.
It's small.
I was smoking a cigarette.
I was also.
Why is it always equal?
So I swear I heard Washington.
I heard 17 something. SARA. I heard Liberty.
The monument to George Washington is the one we just passed. So we've heard the word freedom over there. 17 something would definitely be the years of when he was here.
Sultry?
The name George would be a little bit more.
Yes.
You know.
We have Lee is our new word.
So we are here because of the bus behind me. So it's not to say that we won't get things relative to George Washington because we've seen it so far. Again, this is the new space. I've been here, I think this is the 4th night. So this person behind me is Henry Timrod. Henry Timrod was a poet. Alone. Very so I'll be more interested, Bobby, in the initials HT that pop up in this location. So let me know if you get GW for George Washington or HT for Henry Timrod. So Henry Timrod, because he was a poet, very quick story. Because again, still learning new things about this man. He was very sick, but he joined the army to fight in the Civil War. So the Civil War, like the Confederate Army kicked him out because he was too sick, and they didn't want to have to actually carry him around and so forth. And they already knew that he was a writer, so when they kicked him out, they said, you know what, go be the voice of the Confederacy. So that's exactly what he did. So he left the army, he never got a chance to fight, and he had a cottage in Columbia, but he spent a lot of time here in Charleston. Funny thing is that when he was spending time here in Charleston, it was during the Civil War, and he wrote a poem called Charleston. And I found that the very last stanza of that poem were very intriguing based on what we're actually doing out here. By me reading this last stanza to you, my hope is that it's going to trigger anything that is going on with this young man. And then I'm going to show you a little bit further creepiness with this guy of why we're actually here. So first and foremost, we'll go ahead and start with the last stanza of the poem called Charleston. It was written on December 3rd of 1862, 5 years before his death. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her faith she waits the triumph or the tomb. So basically he's stating that Charleston, we don't know the fate of Charleston during the state of the Civil War because we're in the midst of it. He's waiting to see if Charleston is going to triumph or if they were going to fall. And it's kind of this, you heard what?
Better.
I did read it a little bit more clearly this time, so Henry, pretty good. But Henry Timrod, when he died, he was only 38 years old. Again, he was still writing poetry at the time. He was in his cottage in Columbia, and he's writing the last lines of the things he would ever write in his life. And that line was, "Beholder, grief, mortality." And then he coughed onto the page. He had tuberculosis, and he died instantly. The interesting thing is that cough of phlegm and blood stained the page to look like somebody writing. That book is actually at the Charleston Library Society. It is called The Blood Book. I'm going to show you the page, and you can see the last line where he wrote "Beholder of Grief Mortality" right above it. But that blood book is only shown once a year at the Charleston Library Society, and that is on Halloween. You can see this one stand where it actually looks like a person writing. tell you that the last time I was here, the word Tim showed up. His name is Henry Timrod. That's his full last name, Timrod, one word. And the word blood showed up 2 words before it. So I don't find that very coincidental that we have the name Tim and the word blood right above it. So as we go around this location, I'm not going to give you a series of questions. You guys are helping me out at this point. Let me know what crazy things you're hearing, like liberty, liberty, liberty. And those are the types of things that I want to know about. Again, the blood book is only shown once a year at the Charleston Library Society. We are going to explore the space. We're going to spend a good 15 minutes in this location. Who has the EMF detector? So, with yours, you're going to definitely turn on the motion sensor in this location. Tours love to come through here because it's one of the few parks we have open late at night. So again, if there's coming through, we're not going to be filming them directly. But again, nice slow motion out of your cameras, so that way we can actually have some nice footage. Nick, you're doing a fantastic job, by the way. I've been watching you. No offense, but you're kind of up and down.
Yep.
But we're going to see what kind of footage we can get out of this location. As far as your device, the motion sensor was going a little nuts for us, and we did get a reading all the way up to 17 milligauss in this location 2 nights ago. So that's the highest I've seen so far. So that doesn't mean that's the base, that just means that's the highest I've seen so far. Let's get those spirit boxes cranked. Let's kind of go around the horn and have we heard anything else crazy? What did you guys have me write down? So 17 and what else was it?
Better? Alone?
Alone. And smoke. I forgot smoke.
Smoke, better, alone, move quickly.
British. I got moved quickly British. But I also look at it as I was smoking and moving quickly. I'm not British, so we're not going to take that for sure. All right, let's spread out. Let's have some fun in this location. Let's see what we can find. Reset. Sorry, you're the only one I can help out with. You're the first one we can type around. I heard anybody and then something broke up. John, you got anything?
Yeah, it's thought twice in a row. Domestic, Chris, qualify, furthermore, culture and instantly. Culture and instantly when we were standing over there talking about Mr. Timrod.
The list tonight is actually pretty weak. There's some nights where I have like 25, 30 things to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just pulling the coldest spot.
Yeah. There's like, this is like the coldest area here though.
Okay, now I kept seeing it bounce around and I was interested. Lost my interest. My word list is weak tonight.
Oh, it likes you better than Fabian?
I don't think it likes either of us that much.
Is it also being rude to you or no?
Oh, no. Well, see, patient. Thank you. All right, I'll be patient. Fuck.
Just didn't call you out until you run away.
See where I see that? Yeah. His name was Henry Timrod. I don't know if he had like Paul as his middle name. I don't know. I would go ahead and reset it. Did he show you how to do that? Yeah. Turn it back to normal.
You get patient after your last check.
You might have before issues. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Get us an ambient temperature, like right where I'm standing. It's colder over here.
This whole center area is like in the high 60s. It's the coldest spot here.
Go a little here. Like really cold.
Like I just noticed it was a couple of different degrees. Tori, come on over here.
Asking questions.
Talking to George.
Yeah.
Getting into it.
Henry, I've been patient.
Appreciate it.
Yes, Henry, I did
What's your
get high.
temperature read? That's the bottom number.
No reason to cast down.
72.
Now come up here and see if it starts to drop into the low 60s or the high 60s. Like go up to the overlay and see if it gets. Just gonna see if there's a temperature change. And I wonder why.
71.8, 71.7.
Tim, what's yours look like?
Out here it's still in the high 60s, but the obelisk is like 80.
Okay. It's gonna hang on to the heat from the sun today.
Yeah.
That's why I'm weird.
Got book?
You got book? You got any permission to
went blue. It went blinded the hell.
Oh, I got it.
Blinded the hell out of me.
I don't know what that was. But it was shortly after the word I can't remember.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's head back up here.
Well, no, I was over here talking about tuberculosis.
You were? Sylvia heard 19 days.
19 days.
So we don't, I have no idea what the hell that
I
means.
did get free after I commented about passing through tuberculosis and how that might have felt.
Yeah.
But
Well, we're also in the first one. I'm excited about a couple of things, actually. So one thing I need to dive into, we do have the initials HPT that showed up on the Ouija board. I don't know Henry's middle name. I'll be diving into that. So Henry Timrod, if his middle name is Paul, we have his full initials. I'll be excited about that. The other thing I was excited about, we heard the word book. So we're talking about the blood book. So hopefully, right before the word book or somewhere around there, we might actually have the word blood show up. So again, he's known for his blood book. Again, he's not buried here, he's actually buried in Colombia. Again, remember, I don't think you'd actual cemeteries. They're very places that would be commemorative to that person, or the reason why they would be there is because they might be attached to it in some way. Henry, I would imagine, is all over town, but there are hauntings of him at the Charleston Library Society. So, any other crazy things that have popped up that I need to know about before we go hit our last stop with a new experiment?
Andrew Jackson. That's what it's called.
Okay. Yeah. There's
It's like
actually Andrew Jackson's mother. That's an interesting story all by itself. Actually,
So is she buried over?
that would be Calhoun's mom.
that was a monument to Andrew Jackson's mother on the other side there. Yes.
Yes, and
Who
memory
died in service to ailing
Yeah.
Confederate soldiers here.
Because I know, like, Calhoun's mom actually has two, maybe it is Andrew Jackson's mom, that has two different memorials. One of them actually happens to be in a neighborhood, like it's on somebody's end of a driveway. Because that's exactly where she died. So it's been marked. And
Special
it's just,
house.
Yeah, it just kind of stays there. I don't think I've ever seen it personally, but it is one of those pieces where there are two different pieces to that. And it might be this one's Calhoun. But I could be a mistake. Again, I'm not Google. So
We're in North Carolina.
I'll write that because that whole story is very weird with Calhoun's mother.
Prediction.
Can we talk about predictions on there?
What was Calhoun's mother's name?
I don't know. I thought I knew it, but I don't. It's a good question.
We could try to ask.
Good. Or we can just Google it.
Martha Calhoun.
Martha. Martha Calhoun.
Yeah, John C. Calhoun's mother, right? Just
Yeah.
to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Calhoun.
Yeah. John Caldwell Calhoun. Say that 5 times fast. Don't dare anybody. But yeah, I could have sworn it was Calhoun's mother. That had two. One here and then one in that neighborhood. But again, what's weird is Calhoun served under Andrew Jackson. So it might be where my confusion is coming from. Alright, so we're going to go to one more spot after this. It's a very weird space. Here's how it's going to go. We're going to be filming mainly. Those of you spirit boxes, I definitely want you chiming in. I don't know that the location is going to be susceptible to electronics because it is a Quaker graveyard. It's an interesting space. It's very small. And with it being, when I say it's a graveyard, it's because it's an interred graveyard. That means that those bodies were moved to be put into that specific space so the city can actually have them. The space where they were originally buried. The space where they're originally buried is on King Street, and it is a parking lot now. But there is a plaque, memorializing them, that they were interred and moved to the space that we're going. I know, it seems very disrespectful.
Yeah.
But basically, I have a set of dowsing rods that you guys are going to be trying out. So I'm going to be kind of passing them around. I did order more, but right now I have one set that was given to me a few months ago, and we're going to be trying to use them to try to make a connection to specifically one person that keeps coming through. It just seems very odd. We've had that person's name show up lightly on spirit boxes. The name is Bina Austin, and I want to say there's a total of 35 people buried there, and you're going to see in such a small space, you would think they're right on top of each other, but they're not. They're came to Austin, we actually had like almost a full conversation with her based on the dowsing rods. 2 out of the 3 people that used them were successful. 1 person was not, and that person was male. The other 2 were female. So I don't know if it's a Quaker thing. The reason why I'm saying the electronics might not work is because the Quakers, from my knowledge, do not actually have a belief system in the afterlife, because they thought that the coming of Jesus was coming to end the world before they would actually see their own death. So they didn't have a full belief system in the afterlife. So that's why the electronics, if they work, awesome. If not, we're going to rely on the dowsing rods. So we're going to kind of see how this goes. And it is kind of cool because there's a line of benches there that we can all sit down on, and I'll be basically directing. You guys are all going to kind of sit down and lay your devices aside, and we're going to have this conversation with that woman. So your device is definitely going to come into play there, and both cameras. I definitely want you both filming whoever has the dowsing rods. So that's going to be an awesome sound for you guys on your audio, by the way. You should definitely know that you're in Charleston, because we always have bells ringing. So that's what we're doing.
So the Quakers were cheated out.
What?
You didn't see that. Because they can make this.
That's what I know of myself.
What was your date?
Really? Yes.
I know. This is not what I expected.
Oh, cool. Glad you guys like
This
it.
is a good time. Look at that, Sarah. I'm telling you, this is a good idea.
Yay.
Alright.
Alright, so I think we're definitely going to keep you muted in here. So this is the marker that has the list of all the names on it. So, John, I think I'm going to put you in charge of whenever a name pops up with somebody on a spirit box or somebody heard something, that you're going to run over and check this list. I don't have it. Perfect. So you're going to help us out with that. But I just wanted to kind of give you the layout here. So obviously this tells us who's here with that marker. And then this thing. Got all the bodies. So, but we're going to actually have a seat along these benches. This worked out really well last time. I'm going to get out the dowsing rods, and we're going to see who wants to use them first.
Oh, that's spooky. He's super dark on the infrared.
Mm. Oh, he's cold on here too.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. It's metal.
All right. So, everyone here learned that ghost hunting is not always a scary thing. It can be creepy, especially when you're hearing things like clocks or having issues with somebody with having any contact. It's not always a scary thing. Keep in mind that ghosts are not all assholes like you see on TV. Yeah. So, I want you to kind of think of how many jerks you actually run into in the middle of the daytime, unless they're driving. Like, you don't really run into that many. Everybody's curious, or excuse themselves or whatnot. These people are dead. They're just people. So that's kind of how we have to treat them. Same respect manner that we actually have in this location. We're going to be very, very respectful in this place because, again, the religious values are way different than most of ours in this location that we're actually seeing. So with this, is this what what everybody thought that they signed up for when you guys were going through this? Was this like, this was a different route for me again. So again, open, honest feedback is very welcome here. You're in a safe space. You can tell me whatever you want. If this sucks, you need to tell me. Okay.
Yeah, no preconceived notions.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
and that's the whole point. Yeah, and again, it's not always the demons within me, Aaron. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that kind of stuff. So it's really not. Exactly what we did tonight, but I just have everything running on mute. I go visit places in the middle of the daytime, visiting museums, just like you guys are on vacation. And it's whatever I find later on is what I find later on. I just don't want to know the story up front. I don't want those subliminal messages being put in my head. So again, normally with my old route, I had a lot of questions that I would give you guys without answers. With this one, with this new route, I'm still learning to see it's going to start popping up and easy to find. So the word blood and book so far have shown up in that location, so I'm excited. I know it's 2 separate nights, but they are both definitely related to Henry Cameron. So I'm stoked about it. So, dowsing rods. Dowsing rods, if you're unfamiliar with them, are made out of 100% copper, at least the real ones are. And these do not have handles on them other than the bend. So the ones I have coming in have wooden handles on them. It's going to be much easier to handle. But the way you handle ones without handles attached to them is you basically put your index fingers underneath the corner, the bend, and then your thumb will go just below the bend this way, and then your fingers are very lightly touching it, and you always want to keep them straight. You're going to hear me say a lot. Open for yes and slowly moving them, or close for no. So you're going to hear me say that a lot, and I'm going to be working with each person that's going to be using these. We'll probably do 3 people. So basically I'm testing out that set with the handles, and if I like the way they work, I will probably get 3 sets because I normally have 3 parties. That way there's always one person in every party that has one. And for right now, we're going to be sharing these. If anybody's uncomfortable with that, you need to let me know. So, Sylvia, because you've done so well with a very odd silk, spirit box, I'm going to be giving you these first. So we're going to try it out here. It's kind of funny to do. Hold them up straight here. Other 3 fingers, these 3, are going to be barely touching it when you bring them up. So put your thumbs behind them. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So bring them up so they're pointing at me. There you go. Straight. Perfect. If we have a female here with us, I want you to open the rods. If you're male, close the rods. This is an area where we're going to be asking a lot of yes/no questions, which isn't something I'd like to do, but in this location, and using this type of method, it's almost the only thing we can do. We can't get direct answers, which is why we have everything else running. Again, if you have a female with us here tonight, open the rods. If you're a male, close the rods. Make them touch. That's what tastes better. Tristan? What I've been noticing about these is that they usually have a female with us, open the rods. If not, close the rods. See, you're trying to close, that's good. Now point the rod straight. Oh, thank you. Definitely have a male here tonight. Interesting. Point the rod straight. Separate them, please.
Do you want me to do
No,
it?
I want them to do that. What letters are you getting over there?
Getting an H or J? W-A-Z.
Hold on enough. Thank you for attempting to open them back up again. Let's get a question of if you had children, open the rods. If you did not have children, close the rods. I mean, no disrespect. We're here to learn more about you. I think I spoke to Avina Austin the other night. If you had children, open the rods. box wise?
I heard Jeffrey.
Jeffrey? Okay, Jeffrey. Not seeing a whole lot of motion working it. Looks like they tried to open it. I'm gonna try to get something here closed. If you had less than 5 children, close the rods. They're definitely open. That's a definite less than 5 kids. If you had less than 4 children, open the rods. All the way open. Open them up all the way. If you had 4 or less children. Keep them opening. There we go. You guys can't see from my angle, but they are literally doing one of these. They're slowly opening up. Okay, now that we're open and you're pointed straight back at me, if you had 3 children, close the rods. So you had 3 children directly. Take that. Open the rods again and point it straight at me. And we're gonna let somebody else. Finally getting some good answers out of this. Alright. One's great. And then the other side. What's the good in the world? Crazy nails going on. Alright, what do you guys want to know? So now that we know we have a male, just had 3 children. Did we get a Jeffrey on that list?
No Jeffrey, no Tristan. I
What
did
about
get the word
Willie?
explanation.
I heard like Lily.
Willie?
Willie, William.
No. Willie is Henry Timrod's son. He called him Willie, and they are buried at the same location in Columbia. So we had, this is bleed over. Kind of what we talked about before. Like, that's a very specific name. So, ladies, sorry, back to you. What do we want to know about these Quakers? We got a male, he's got 3 kids. Marriage questions would be good, age questions. What do you think? What do you want to know? So with that, we need to kind of break it down, like what I did with the children. If you were over 40 years old when you passed away, let's open the rods. Over 40, open the rods. Over 40, open the rods. No movement, because that wavering is coming from the air. I can see it. Over 40, open those rods. You are still straight as an arrow. If you were under 40, close the rods. If you were under 40, close the rods. You got no motion at all.
Are there children there?
are children buried in these grounds, close the rods for us. They're getting nothing. Alright, who else wanted to try it? We're not getting much of a vibe. John, you up? Sorry, but not everybody has the... Definitely sit down, be comfortable. I want to go back to the age question, like that's pretty good. So, if you're over 40, open the rods. Under 40, close the rods. Over, open, under, close. Over 40, open the rods. Under 40, close the rods.
What if he is 40?
What's that?
What if he is 40? Was 40?
Good point. Let's move on. I like the children question being buried here. If there are children buried here with you, I want you to close the rods. If there's not, open the rods. So a little bit of closure. Yep, we're starting to touch. That's good. Okay, we're going to take that as a yes that there are children buried with you. Straighten the rods. Point them straight at me, please. Not you. It's okay. Talking to the ghost. You're just the medium at this point. You're the channel. What else do we want to know? We got children here. Think of yes, no questions. What do we got? Speaking to a male. Alright, let's open those rods if you're married. When I say open, open them nice and wide. If you are not married, make a full X with the rods. Close them. Are you guys hearing anything in your spirit boxes, by the way? Nothing? Oh, a little bit of motion. What's that? Family. He's getting an X. So, it's like he wasn't married but had children. It seems odd for that religion.
Widow? Or widower,
Oh.
rather?
I like that answer. What are we on, Family Feud? Good answer, good answer. Okay, thank you for that. Maybe we're taking that you were a widow, so go ahead and point the rod straight at me again, not you, John. Point them straight at me. There's nobody's phone here?
There's one of those bikes across the street.
Oh. You got any letters coming up over there?
No.
Nothing you can make out? I don't think we're getting much out of these tonight.
Tough crowd.
Like Sylvia.
Yeah, they did. They did. All right. Well, nice attempt, everybody. I just don't feel like we're getting solid answers out of them.
Anything fun in there?
Income, authority, and sexuality.
Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Some stuff they didn't work out.
I'm actually very excited about the name Willie. Like, that is exciting stuff. So, I'm going to stop your audio at this point. That'll kind of give me a gist of how much media and data that you're going to get back tomorrow. So you're at 2 hours and 8 minutes. I don't time this, by the way. Like, we just go. So, and again, even with newer locations, usually like 4 major stops is what I was working with before. So I kind of knew like we were going to be in that 2-hour mark. But that definitely means that you're going to get, I mean, Tim did a lot of recording tonight. So maybe you had quite a bit going on today. You'll play about an hour and a half. I'm going to say you're probably going to have about 7.5 hours worth of media, plus all of the links and reading that I'm going to give you. That's, you guys are going to be, you have like a 15-hour workday ahead of you. I'm just going to put it out there. So that's what you guys signed up for. That's what you're getting back. So when you guys go hunt another ghost tour in the future, it will not be like this. Just so you guys know, it's going to be, we have 1 or 2 that I would recommend here in town, even though we have dozens. So I don't know how long you're going to be here, but there's other, obviously, haunted cities around up and down the East Coast,
No
depending on
priest.
where you like to vacation. What's that?
No priest.
Is that what it says?
No priest.
Wow. I don't know that Quakers had priests.
Or that they were buried and interred without one.
They were definitely, well, I want to know, I think that they did like some commemoration for them, but I don't know that there was a priest involved.
If they were Quakers, I would not think that they would rebury them in any sort of denominational ceremony.
Yeah, it's weird.
Some profess a priesthood of all believers. Like everyone is a priest.
Wow.
So, technically,
There are
there's
no priests.
We're all priests.
Huh.
Nick has been the historian of the evening.
Yeah, really. It's been a historian of my life.
So in case you were, the other piece of this is like what you're wondering, like how I actually got into this and why I do this. I'm a writer, so that's what I went to school for. I have a bachelor's in English, a bachelor's in journalism, a master's in creative writing, and I just started my master's program in public history today. So again, I'm highly educated, obviously, so it's not a matter of like I'm just like, oh, I'm a tour guide, let's go have some fun. No, I don't even like calling myself a tour guide. I like showing you guys actual history to see what's actually going to come up out of these. And I'm still waiting to hear back from my professor from this morning for my opening post of like, I'm a paranormal lead investigator for a company called this. And I'm waiting for that response of like, oh shit. Like, that's kind of mentality. However, the other students responding to my post were like, I'm a history nerd and paranormal nerd. I'm like, cool. So, yeah. But again, hopefully you guys have handled some things that you may never see in the future, or now you can see how they do things on TV and how most of it can be pretty much debunked. Asking yes/no questions to a spirit box does not work for me. Just so you know, I don't ask yes/no questions ever. I like the details, so when you guys watch your Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, or whatever it is that you guys are watching, the Ghost Bros, like all of them, like they all ask, is anybody here? And then nobody answers, or somebody hears the word no, which means somebody's there. So, again, I hate yes/no answers unless like this whole dowsing rod thing, but I really went back and forth with it. Like I was surprised, like the first time I came here with guests, there was only a party of 2. It was supposed to be rainy that night, so everybody canceled, but one party of 2, but the young lady brought a set of dowsing rods with her. And I was like, we're in Quaker territory. We don't really know the religious values of these people to see if this would be sacrilegious with electronic devices. So let's use your dowsing rods. And we had a ton of answers come through. So it was really cool. And I was like, I have a set of dowsing rods. We're going to test this out a little bit further. So I think I'm going to get a set of 3. So that way there's 3 different people, and we're going to see if the same answers come up out of all 3 of them. That would be super cool. So again, lots of testing and kind of seeing what's going on. Really appreciate you guys testing out these 2 new locations with me. And again, they're very odd for me because again, I toured the same 3 spaces for pretty much 2.5 years. So it was like, not only was I like being drone and I felt like a script, but now it's like, oh, I get to work on my toes again. So it's a pretty big deal for me. This this point, as I start collecting your devices, what questions do you guys have for me?